Did a really sweet job.
Everyone. Everybody is safe and warm, and obviously folks who have logged in have power. Good for you. So welcome to the State Council meeting. My name is Errol Elstein, Chair of the State Council. This will be my last meeting as chair, and in fact, last meeting to represent Region 5 term limits. Don't know who invented those. I don't like them, but so be it. So I will call everybody's name and will indicate present. I can't exactly, can't see everybody at once, I guess. And I will ask you if you would tell us your favorite cold weather comfort food. Mine is New England clam chowder, which is very different from Manhattan chowder. Okay. Rebecca Simmerly.
I'll see her on.
Okay. Lori Keeper.
Here, and my favorite comfort food is chili.
Okay. Crystal Murphy. Amanda Farrell. I'm here. Chrissy Good. I see Chrissy.
I'm here, and my favorite comfort is a drink. It's my mom's homemade hot chocolate.
Oh, nice. With marshmallows.
Yes.
Okay. Kimberly Boyd.
She's going to be a few minutes late.
Okay. Diana Baucom. District 9, we're still waiting for somebody. Lynette Porter.
I'm here, and my favorite comfort food in spring, summer, winter, fall, it doesn't matter, is always macaroni and cheese.
Okay. See, you and Bobby.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah. Jeez. Okay. Let's see, we don't have anybody for the CILs. Crystal Hicks.
Hello, Crystal Hicks. I guess we're doing my favorite food. I'm sorry, I was trying to get my audio to work appropriately with the WebEx.
Yeah, favorite comfort.
Favorite comfort food. Probably just like a vegetable soup is really my favorite.
Nice. Terry Carlson.
Hi everyone. Yes, I'm here. My favorite comfort food is tamale soup.
Yolanda Beeson.
Good morning, everybody. My favorite comfort food is during the winter time, definitely, it's gonna be homemade chili with some cheese added in.
Nice. Shannon Pargan.
Absent today.
Crystal is on.
Crystal Murphy.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I'm here. My favorite comfort food is probably a loaded baked potato.
Oh. Going to coordinator Cynthia Johnson.
Cynthia Johnson is no longer with the company.
Okay. Who's replaced her?
uh, Karen Tapp, she's out on sick leave. I am Patrice Taylor. I'm the administrative assistant.
Okay. Teresa, you want to tell us your cold weather comfort food?
Chocolate chip cookies, fresh out of the oven.
Michelle Harris?
Good morning. My favorite comfort food would be popcorn and a drink as well, but a drink would be hot herbal tea.
Letitia Maxwell?
Good morning. My comfort food would be a baked sweet potato.
Oh, I like that. Roy, Alan? Lori Golden?
Greetings, everyone. My favorite comfort food, regardless of the season, and I actually call it food group, is white cake with white icing. Love it. No store-bought, has to be homemade or bakery.
Very nice, very nice. Lakeisha Jackson? Marcy Cohen? Melanie Oberg?
Good morning, everyone. This is my first meeting, so just wanted to say hello. And my favorite comfort food is homemade potato soup. I made a big crock pot full of that last week and I ate it for days.
Okay. Bill Garner? Bill's not joining us today.
I don't think he's going to be on.
Christy Jensen?
Good morning. I think my favorite, everything that has been mentioned is a definite favorite. But I think I would my go-to is vanilla ice cream when I add peanut butter to it. So.
Sounds good.
Anita T?
She's going to try to join us later.
Okay, thank you. Michelle Kaiser?
Hello, my favorite comfort is spiced apple cider.
See, I think Pam Sykes joined us.
Yes, I'm here. My favorite comfort food is red beans and rice with jalapenos and a slice of cheese.
Okay. Sarah Reeves?
Hi, good morning, everyone. For me, it's chili every season, every day, always chili.
Elaine Broyles. Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
I like chocolate covered strawberries.
Very good. Misty Boyles? Misty's not with us. Carolyn
She's
Harris?
with you guys. She's having trouble with her audio and her being able to get through. But she said her comfort food is ice cream.
Marilyn Harris?
Good morning, everyone. My favorite comfort food is chicken and dumplings.
Oh, yeah. Kathy Presley? Clarissa Ham? Taylor Brobeck? Lori Legg. Gina Wilson.
Here. What's the question?
Question is your favorite cold weather comfort food.
Gotta be food, 'cause otherwise it'd be a hot toddy.
Okay, all right. Food and drink, okay. Michelle Blizzard. That's an appropriate name.
Favorite comfort food is potatoes of any sort. Actually, mashed potatoes, fried potatoes, it doesn't matter. French fries.
Elizabeth McLean. Christy Tankersley. See your name there, Christy, but. Okay, anyone from family support agencies whose name I didn't call?
I'm Shay Herrick from Williamson County ARC, and joining me is Marcy Patricelli Cohen, and she's actually taking over for me as our coordinator, but she's having some trouble getting on, so she'll be joining us shortly.
Okay. Marcy.
I'm Amber Harris from TARP Center for Independent Living in Paris.
All right. Anyone else whose name I didn't call? Go on to the.
Well,
Danny.
do want to note, Diana, District 8, council member is on. She said, she was working on getting audio. I don't know if that was about 10 minutes ago, so I don't know if that worked, Diana. But thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, thanks, Diana.
Looks like Lori Kiefer also joined.
Yeah, she did. She was able to.
Yeah,
She introduced herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed
So I
it.
think we got 9 right now.
I called in. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is Diana. Yeah, I did the call in because I could never get the audio to work on my computer. So I'm here and listening.
Okay,
Thank you,
very
Diana.
good. Thanks, Diana.
I have those same issues, so I hear you on what that.
All right, so staff, Jenna Martin.
My turn? Right. Just a few quick statewide
We're not
updates.
ready for that yet.
Oh,
We're ready for you to tell us your favorite cold
gosh,
weather
I'm just
comfort
really
food.
trying to get through this meeting. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Y'all had some really good ones and you almost made me second guess on what I would think. I'm just gonna say something that's not been said, but shepherd's pie.
You have, yeah, yeah. Seth Wilson.
Hey, Seth Wilson, attorney for DDA, was grateful to work with this program. And y'all are making me really hungry, I'll say that. A giant bowl of pasta, though. Always make everything right.
Okay. Cooper McCormick.
Let's see her on here and
Tammy. Where's Tammy today?
Here I am. I
She
couldn't make it in today, but I miss seeing y'all. Yeah, my favorite comfort food is any type of soup in the winter. I love potato soup, vegetable soup, anything.
Bill Tina.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to say chili.
Tanya Hardy.
Good morning. I am a foodie, so but for the winter, I would say a grilled cheese sandwich with a Dr. Pepper.
Okay. Tanya Jones.
Good morning. Um, I guess I would have to say probably like white chicken chili. It's really appropriate for the weather we got.
Wow. Carla Goodman.
Yeah, I'm here. I was torn. I love chili, but I don't know who else. It's a Midwest thing, and it's called cream peas and potatoes. That's my grandma used to make it for me.
Oh, yes. That's nice. All right. Any other folks from the department whose name I haven't called? Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for sharing your favorite comfort food for cold weather. I was surprised when I walked out. I was sort of prepared for cold weather, but then it was 40 degrees, so thank goodness for that. All right, so we're through with that. We've got introductions. We've got anybody from the public whose name wasn't called who would like to be recognized? From the department or an agency or. I see Katie Powers. Is she on? Katie, are you on?
Once we get power back on at our house, we've had no power forever. But it would be a soup too. Right now it's peanut butter crackers.
Anyone else? Who hasn't been able to identify because I don't have their name on a list? Okay, thank you. All right, so minutes of the November 5th meeting.
I made one correction to those. Tim Boyd was listed as Tim Balcom, but Diana, don't worry, your name was correct. I don't know why I gave her your last name. But that has been corrected. So there's a minor correction, but that's all so far. That's been.
Okay. So has anybody else been able to read the minutes? I wasn't able to read the minutes. Anybody else?
I read them. They looked fine to me. This is Crystal.
Yes, you were able to read them? Okay. So, can we have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
This is Crystal. I motion that we approve the minutes as corrected.
And a second?
Yolanda Beeson, second.
Okay, so hard to do this when nobody's in the room, but I know that's what I have to remember to call. I have to call the roll. All right, so this is to approve the minutes. You can say yes to approve. If you don't want to. Rebecca's similarly is not on. Right? Lori Kiefer.
Approve.
Crystal Murphy.
Yes.
And the Farrell's not on. Yes. Chrissy Hood.
Yes.
Kimberly Boyd is Diane Balcom.
Yes.
Lynette Porter.
Yes.
Crystal Hicks.
Yes.
Terry Carlson.
I approve.
Yolanda Beeson.
Yes, approve.
Shannon Vargas. Shannon's still not.
She's absent today.
Oh, she's not here today. Okay. All right, minutes are approved as corrected. Thank you. Okay. All right. There you go, Jenna. You're on.
Sorry, now it's my turn. Really going ahead. Just a couple of updates from the state. I have sent all of the satisfaction surveys to each of the agencies. Please, please, please go ahead and send those out to your families. It's a 10% year. We will be collecting that information. We really collect it until next year when we clear the data, but the only time that this information will be reported will be what is collected by our next meeting. So those surveys were sent out in January, and I think I've only had confirmation from 5 of the 16 agencies that those have been sent to the family. So please go ahead and send those out, giving families ample time to complete those. The satisfaction surveys now have an additional question that we have not had in years past that states, ask the family if they're interested in being on the local, district, or state council. So we hope that whenever you are having issues recruiting members of each or any of your councils, that we can pull that data from the survey and then share those names with you of people who might be interested. This is just kind of an FYI for our website. Many of you have already reached out to me, so you're aware of this update. In order to be compliant with ADA regulations, all of our forms had to be accessible and that were on our website. And our communications team went through everything, and they did a study to see if something wasn't clicked on average once a month, then it wasn't necessary for us to try to make that document accessible. So one of the items that fell into that category were our Spanish and Arabic documents. Those documents have been removed completely from our website, and in their place has been put my contact information. So we still have those forms. They just can't be on our website because they're not accessible. And if you need them, just reach out to me. There is an IAM/ASD and TN campaign that starts now. We start collecting nominations from across the state of anyone who you may know who has autism and has a cool story to share about their involvement in their community or something that they do personally. Our communications team works in tandem with us that we kind of collect the stories. I send them over to communications. Communication goes out and they conduct interviews, and they either come up with a video or a story for each person, and then they publish those and put them out each week during the month of April for Autism Awareness Month. And you can go to our website and find the historical stories. We actually have Rebecca Simmerly's family, who is a member of the state council here. Her family was part of the IAM/ASD campaign last year, and we hope to get some good nominations. I have one that I've submitted so far, but I just wanted to share that with this group as well, because you all work with people on a daily basis that have autism. It's our #1 served diagnosis year over year. So I know that we have people in the program that have autism. And if you have anyone that comes to mind when you hear about this campaign, then please just send me their contact information if you confirm their interest, and I will get that over to our communications team. Errol, I moved this first quarter timeframe reminder, and I meant to ask you if you want me to do that reminder here about the timeframe for processing applications, or keep it under the committee.
Let's keep it under the committee.
Okay.
That's good, because we had a discussion about that.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Jenna. Okay, Crystal Murphy, who chairs the Policy and Procedures Evaluations Committee.
Hi. Are we ready for me to present from the committee?
Yes. Yes.
if you're looking at your agenda, the very first thing, the new definition for special needs trust, et cetera, I think that actually falls under the Public Awareness Committee. So we're going to skip over that item and talk about service plan approval, reimbursement dates, when is it appropriate to request funds. You might remember at our last meeting, our committee presented 3 new definitions for clarification questions that had been asked by providers. So this was, the first 2 were approved last time. This was the 3rd, and there was quite a bit of discussion about it. Basically, the question that we were asked was, when can reimbursement for goods and services be made during a fiscal year? If someone applies in October, can their reimbursement go all the way back to July 1? And we did not have a vote. We did not have a vote from the committee yesterday, but I will share what we spoke about. And then since we didn't have a vote, we will need a motion from the state committee to carry forward. But our thought process as a committee was that there are several options. You can either say everyone gets reimbursed beginning July 1, no matter when they apply, or you can say no one gets reimbursed until their service plan is signed, or somewhere in the middle is you can be reimbursed back to the application date. And we've discussed that there was some precedent with other state funding programs that also works that way, where you can be reimbursed back to the date of your initial application. So that is what our committee landed on and what we would suggest. I think Jenna might have some wording that we can share. Are you able to show that to everyone?
I can, and I'm just gonna share it in the where I put it in the family support guidelines. We can choose to leave it or move this at a different time if we want to, but this is just where it seemed to make the most sense to me. I'm also going to read it aloud for those who are here in the room.
Thank you, Jenna.
Move this over and maybe still read it. Let's see.
It's still on for everybody on, so.
They can see it. Okay, good. All right, so families applying for the Family Support Program can request reimbursement for services starting from their application submission date, but not before July 1 of the fiscal year.
So that, thank you for reading that, Jenna. That takes care of anyone who may apply January to June for the following year, even if their service plan isn't approved till the end of July or August, they can still request funding all the way back to July 1. And then for anyone who applies later in the year, they would receive funding back to the date of their application submission, not all the way back to July 1. And I know that that is a change from the way some agencies are currently operating, but we felt it was important that this be consistent across the state because lots of agencies were handling this issue in different ways. So we're trying to make it consistent and also finding a middle ground that allows for the most flexibility with reimbursing families, but also protects the program should we be questioned by legislatures or anything of that nature. Any questions from anyone?
Yes, this is Lori Golden. I have a question.
Okay.
Some agencies consider the intake as the application. So we need some clarity on that because for us, the intake is part of the eligibility. So if someone is interested, they complete our eligibility packet, which entails the intake form. But some agencies do consider that intake as part of the application.
So I think what we're saying as of currently, obviously they wouldn't receive funds until their intake is done and they are determined to be eligible, but then they can request reimbursement for services back to the date of the original application. Is what it's saying right now. Does that answer your question?
Okay, no. Let me give you an example. Say someone who's interested in the program completes the intake on August 1st.
Uh-huh.
From there, we go through the process. They're approved by the local council. They complete the actual service plan application on September 1st.
Correct.
So would it be the August 1st date or would it be the September 1st date?
It would be the August 1st date.
Okay.
So what you're calling intake, I'm calling application. So
I understand.
what am I using the wrong term? What is the consistent term for the first time they send you a form that says I'm interested?
That for us is considered the part of the eligibility process.
Certainly. Exactly. So a person, first of all, has to know that the family support program exists.
Correct.
Then they make contact with an agency and you're going to fill out the intake form in order to be able to determine that they are eligible. There's a distinction between being eligible, and this is explicitly stated, I believe, in the guidelines. There's a distinction to be made between being eligible and being selected for the program. But for the purpose of this discussion, if the person, you filled out an intake form for that person, I would agree that that's the beginning of the application process. So if the
Correct.
service plan is not, so going to your example, Lori, if the intake form was filled out or completed in August 1st, then the person was determined to be was selected. So you determined that they were eligible, and then the local council selected them for funding, and their service plan was signed September 1st. I agree that the beginning date would be August 1st.
Thank you for the
Yes.
clarification. Thank you.
We are not changing any eligibility guidelines or selection guidelines. All of that stays the same. This is just a question of once someone is eligible and is selected and their service plan is signed, how far back can they go to request reimbursement? And some agencies were going all the way back to July 1, no matter when they applied. Some were saying you don't get approval or you don't get funds until your service plan is signed. So we're just trying to meet somewhere in the middle and make it consistent across the whole state.
Thank
So
you.
maybe we need to change that word application, if that is the word that's causing some issue, or maybe services starting from their initial application or intake submission date. I'm not sure how we need to word that to make that clear for everyone.
Isn't it on our forms? Isn't it called the intake form? Intake form? It's not called an application. So we should change that to.
So we should change it, yes.
Would that help clarify, Lori?
Yes, it does. And thank you so much. That helps our families out.
Thank you, Lori. Thanks for asking that, helping us clarify. Any other questions? Okay. Again, and since we did not vote as a committee yesterday, this is not coming as a suggestion from the committee, so we will need a motion to carry on with approving this? Do we have a motion?
Let's read the language again, please.
Okay.
Families applying for the Family Support Program can request reimbursement for services starting from their intake form submission date, but not before July 1 of the fiscal year.
Jenna, this is Regina. Can we say that families applying for the Family Support Program can have it state those that applied before July 1st can be reimbursed starting July 1st, or receipts from? Because when you say from their submission intake date, you know, they may be looking, well, I applied in March. So I think if you clarify it a little bit before that.
Well, this should cover that, because if they applied in Lori's example in August and they were approved in September and they started their service plan in September, then their reimbursement for services still start from their intake form submission date, which was August.
But what Regina is saying, and this is the way we hope things mostly go. People may complete their intake form before the beginning of the new fiscal year. So let's say April. And for the upcoming fiscal year. But I think we have that covered, Regina, because we say not before July 1st of.
I mean, I understand that you have it covered, but it is just a little bit more confusing, the way that it's stated. Because I know that the fiscal year starts July 1st, but you know, I've got something on my plate right now where somebody said, well, I applied in March, so my plan should go from start in March prior to the fiscal year, which is not correct. But I don't know. It just is a little bit more confusing that way. Yes, I understand that it kind of explains, but I just didn't know if there was a clearer way to say that.
I'm welcome. Any suggestions you have on what that language should look like, let us know.
Would it be helpful to say if a family applies after the beginning of the fiscal year or the current fiscal year?
So do you all want these to be two separate sections? Like one, what does it look like if a family applies during open enrollment prior to the fiscal year? And one bullet point that covers what happens for people who apply after the fiscal year begins?
That may clarify it a bit more, yes.
I think that's the amplified, like $1,000.
Okay. Do you all feel that that's more clarifying?
For the first one, should we take out the part on intake form submission date? Families applying for the family support program during the open enrollment period can request reimbursements for services
July 1.
starting July 1.
I think we need some modifier in that sentence. Rather than just starting July 1 of the
Current,
current, because
upcoming.
Yeah, something upcoming or new or following fiscal year. Okay, so.
Can we add an S to services on the second one?
Y'all are testing my vision. I might need glasses. All right.
So I have a question, and this may be addressed somewhere above this, but it's saying families applying. It doesn't say that are approved. Does that make sense? So you're saying families applying for the program can request reimbursement, but if they're not approved, then they can't receive those.
Yeah, you're right. It should say approved.
So that kind of clears it up too. Not everyone who applies is approved. Right? Great suggestions.
Because they have to be approved before you can put them on. Period.
Sure. Regina, does this look good to you?
Yeah, it definitely looks better, but you know, I guess the approved part of it means that they've gone all the way through the eligibility checklist, which, you know, we technically have, and I guess that'll be explained later, I don't know, but you've kind of got the first quarter to get all of them approved. And if an agency is running behind, I don't necessarily want that to hurt the family.
That's why we're adding this definition so that
But
if
by
they're
saying
not
that they're not approved,
if they're not approved, well, you can't disperse funds until they're approved anyway and have a signed service plan in place.
right, but they applied in March.
Right.
And
What we're
they went through
saying
the
is if they're
eligibility
not
process until August.
right, then they can request reimbursement retroactively
to July.
From July 1, assuming they applied before then. We're doing this to help families.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Does that make sense?
A little more. Thank you.
Any other suggestions or things you all want to consider in those additions?
All right, let's read those two new sentences again.
Okay. Families approved for the family support program during the open enrollment period can request reimbursement for services starting July 1 of the upcoming fiscal year. Families approved for the family support program after the fiscal year begins can request reimbursement for services starting from their intake form submission date.
Okay, I see what Regina was saying on this first one. Families approved for the family support program during open enrollment. Well, they're not going to get approved until after open enrollment. They'll apply. So it needs to say families approved for family support program who applied during the open enrollment period. Does that Does that answer the question you were asking, Regina?
Yes, thank you.
All right, that does look better. Want me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Approved for the Family Support Program, who applied during the open enrollment period can request reimbursement for services starting July 1 of the upcoming fiscal year. Families approved for the Family Support Program after the fiscal year begins can request reimbursement for services starting from their intake form submission date.
We should add who applied to that second one too, because if they're approved after, they need to have applied after as well.
All right. Families approved for the Family Support Program who applied after the fiscal year begins can request reimbursement for services starting from their intake form submission date.
Yes, thank you.
I think y'all fixed it.
Okay, now the next question will come in as, what do you consider open enrollment period? That's different for each agency, I believe. Yeah.
Well, I thought about putting the time frame in there, but I think that we can easily say you will have to discuss that with your agency.
Yeah, the guidelines reference, Regina, you probably remember, this goes back a long ways, but, and in an attempt to make the process of applications and approvals as smooth as possible before the new fiscal year begins, we were suggesting that agencies start to collect applications and send out information several months before the end of the current fiscal year. Where's that language? That should. And then agencies were able to, decide for themselves how early so some, I think, start that in January, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so in the guidelines in section 7, under statewide timeframes, it does mention that the third quarter through the fourth quarter is when people shall get the new intakes.
Yes. So
that would be considered open enrollment. So you can start it either in the third quarter or the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then you have the fourth through the first quarter to get them approved and presented to the council.
Yes.
Well, this says you have to complete that by the end of the first quarter of the fiscal year. Yeah.
So, that's already defined. So it's up to the individual agencies how within that fourth quarter period, how soon they want to start and or how late they want to start. So I don't think that that's an issue in terms of what we're trying to decide right now.
Any other questions or comments about adding this clarification on reimbursement?
Let me get back to that so we can look at it all the time.
Okay, so we need someone to make a motion to add these 2 new paragraphs about reimbursement. Crystal, you can make the motion.
I motion that we approve adding these 2 paragraphs.
And we need a second.
This is Lori Kiefer. I second.
All right, now we can have more discussion. Any more discussion about this before we take the vote? Okay, been moved and seconded that this new language, what section are we in the guidelines here?
Section 8 under claims and reporting.
Okay, all right, so a yes is to approve having this language, and no as opposed to having this language. So, Lori,
Yes.
Crystal,
Yes.
say yes. Chrissy Hood,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Lynette,
Yes.
Crystal Hicks,
Yes.
Terry Carlson,
Yes.
Yolanda,
Yes.
Real quick note, I saw a Kimberly joined us. I don't know if that's, is that Kimberly Boyd?
oh yeah,
You doing?
Kimberly, are you on the call now?
Her note in the chat
Oh,
says yes,
yeah.
but she can't unmute.
Oh,
How about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I vote yes.
Nice.
Okay, all right, okay, so, the addition of these two new paragraphs under section 8, has been approved. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, because we didn't have, I didn't do this at the beginning. Crystal Hicks is a new member of the state council from Tenco. She has the Tenco seat because Katie Powers' term. So I want to officially welcome you, Crystal. Thanks for being on the call, and you already participated, so that's great. I'm sorry that I forgot to do that at the beginning of the meeting. All right, very good. Crystal, any
Yes.
another item?
We do have one more item. We had a question, Jenna had a question from a family asking about how long an agency could take to approve or disapprove their application once it's submitted. And so we just wanted to highlight, we don't need to change or add anything. It's already here. Jenna's got that up on the screen. The section right above this, we looked at just a moment ago where it's talking about fourth and first quarter applicants shall be completed by the end of the first quarter. And then here we have first quarter, all families, individuals should be notified if they are approved for the program, placed on the waiting list, or denied. All approvals, disapprovals, and denials shall be completed by September 30th. So that is the clarification for that question. We do have a note also there in between those two paragraphs that talk about applications that are submitted during the fiscal year, and that an agency will have 30 days to contact the applicant in order to determine eligibility. So we just wanted to highlight that is already in the guidelines. If there was any question about that, just wanted to offer that for clarification. Nothing to change or add on that one.
Can we make a change?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it.
Okay, so when these rules were made, we did not have the in progress tab in our state sheet, which is a new category. You're either approved, denied, or still in progress. So can we put in progress in that? Because, sometimes we're still waiting on documentation. And so they can't be approved or denied because we don't have a complete application. But if we can, they can still be in that category of in progress and letting them know that.
So you're saying where it says all families should be notified if they are approved for the program, placed on the waiting list, or denied, we should add in progress? Is that where you're?
In progress, yes.
Okay. I like
Because
that
those
change.
are all numbers that we're still tracking.
And that means you are in contact with them if they are
correct
in progress.
You would still have to meet the same requirement of notifying them by September 30th, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Any other questions regarding this? I am fine with adding in progress. I guess we will need a motion and a vote in order to do that. Anyone else have any comments?
So, okay. So do you, Regina, are you saying that, and anybody else, the way this reads, it says that they shall be notified that they were approved, placed on the waiting list. So they're going to be notified that their application is in progress or denied?
The only time a person should be placed at noted to be in progress should be when the agency is waiting on information from the family.
Yes.
And that is defined. I think under here too, under waiting list. Search it.
See, says initially a family must be determined to be eligible. After that determination, if the family's not enrolled, will be placed on the waiting list. Applicants will be marked as in progress until documentation has been submitted to determine eligibility. So it's for people where the eligibility hasn't even been.
Right. So I'm not.
I think what she's asking, because the definition or the time frame that we looked at just a second ago said applicants will be notified if they are approved or denied or selected, or I'm not sure how it was worded, but it doesn't give an option for an agency has notified them but doesn't have all the documentation. So the agency is fulfilling their part by being in contact, but they can't be approved or denied because they're still in progress. So how do we clarify?
So what I'm asking is does it make sense to say that they're going to be notified that they're in progress, awaiting their complete submission of documentation by said date?
Yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to clarify was that this isn't the agency asking for us to put that there so they can say, we're in progress of looking at your information. Rather it be, we've looked at your information and we've noticed you're still missing X, Y, and Z to determine your eligibility. Because by definition, that's already in the guidelines,
Mhm.
that's the only time that a person should be marked as in progress is when the agency has received partial information from the family.
So let's go back to where we want to add that. In progress. So will everyone understand as they read this, that in progress means that the agency is awaiting complete documentation from the family?
I think so, because it's noted on page 8 earlier what that means.
What that means.
I mean, we can always put that in parentheses here if you want.
No, I think that's, okay, so I guess what we're saying is that the family will be notified. You have to submit some more information to us before we can.
Yes. Yes, because if a family does not submit everything, they still need to be contacted.
Okay, all right.
Should we, okay, I'm only saying this because everything else is listed prior, but the next piece of this paragraph says all approvals, disapprovals, and denials shall be completed by September 30th. Do we need to add in progress to make sure the agency is accountable for also contacting those families who are in progress by that same September 30th deadline?
What if we said all notifications shall be completed? And that covers everything in the previous sentence.
I just don't think we should leave it out.
Or even maybe make that one sentence, all families shall be notified if they're approved, blah, 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 or are denied.
By September 30th.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I like that better. Any further questions, comments, clarification?
Okay, so once again, we need a motion to change this wording in, I guess it's in section 7.
Yeah.
In the guidelines, to all families, individuals shall be notified if they are approved for the program, placed on the waiting list, in progress, or are denied by September 30th of each funding year.
We have a question in the chat from Misty Voiles. How many times should we contact them about needing additional information? I'm not sure that that needs to be answered in this paragraph.
I think that that's covered, I think that as long as you're informing them by the September 30th deadline, that covers you as far as the first quarter requirements.
Yeah.
And then I think it's noted that if someone's on the waiting list, they need to be contacted. Is it annually?
I mean, I think it's a really good question, but that might just vary so much depending on the situation. That it's at least though, just make sure that the family knows by the hard deadline what status they're in, what status their application is in by September 30th. But then it's really good.
It's a good question, but it's irrelevant to this wording change. So we still need a motion to change the wording of this section of this sentence of the guidelines.
This is Lori Kiefer. I make a motion to accept the wording change.
Lori, you have a second?
This is Crystal. I will second. Murphy.
Crystal. All right, any other discussion about this wording change?
Lori just raised her hand.
Lori?
Yes, it's not about the wording change. It was about how many times. Should we just take that question back to our local councils and have each council make a decision on how many times is enough for us to reach out to an approved family?
Or
An in-progress family.
An in-progress family, yes, the word.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other discussion about this, we will, yes, vote will be to approve this language change, and a no will be opposed to it. Lori Kiefer,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
say yes. Chrissy Hood,
Yes.
Kimberly Boyd,
Yes.
Diana Markham,
Yes.
Lynette Porter,
Yes.
Crystal Hicks,
Yes.
Gary Carlson,
Yes.
Yolanda Beeson.
Yes.
Right, the motion carries. And that's already there, right? All right, very good. Crystal, anything else from the?
Nope, that is all I have.
So thanks very much. All right, Chrissy Hood, Public Awareness Training and Nomination Committee.
Yes. So before we get started, I want to personally take a minute and thank Errol for your many years of service to the Family Support Program. As a family member of someone who is a recipient of the Family Support Program, I appreciate the dedication that you've put into this program and ensuring families are thought about and your desire to keep it a flexible program and easy on the family. So thank you for all the years that you have been a part of this and for serving as our chair. Unfortunately, that also means that we have to vote in a new chair, a new council chair. So we have received one person who has indicated they are interested in serving as the council chair. But is there anyone else that has not expressed an interest that would be interested in the council chair? So we'll leave it at that and see if anyone's interested before we move forward. Okay, then. So Crystal Murphy has expressed an interest in serving as the council chair. So Jenna and Seth, from here, do we vote on this? Since there are no other nominations, how would you like me to proceed?
Still.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Okay. So we are requesting a motion to vote on Crystal Murphy for the chair of the state council.
I would just like to ask before we vote, are we sure there's no other interested parties?
Come on, somebody else can raise their hand. Let's make it a contest.
Good to go.
Well, I'm going to step outside of my chairmanship. This is something you can do. I learned this from the man who shot Liberty Valance. You can step outside of the chair, and I make a motion that for Crystal Murphy to be next chair of the State Family Support Council. Now we need a second.
This is Lori Kiefer. I second.
Thank you, Lori. Okay. So a yes vote will be in favor. No vote will be opposed to the nomination. Okay, Lori,
Yes.
Crystal, you can vote for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, say yes. Chrissy Hood,
Yes.
Kimberly Boyd,
Yes.
Anna Balcom,
Yes.
Nat Porter,
Yes.
Crystal Hicks,
Yes.
Gary Carlson,
Yes.
and Yolanda Bisa.
Yes.
All right, congratulations, Crystal. You will, at the, what is it, the May meeting? May meeting, you will be chair of the state council. Any questions that you may have about being the chair, feel free to ask me. I'd be happy to assist you in any way possible. By the way, despite the fact that I will no longer be an official member of the State Family Support Council, I will still attend the meetings because public can come and attend, and I'll be a member of the public. So I'll be available at those meetings to assist in if you ask me. And I won't be able to vote on anything, but if you have any questions and I can still remember what's going on, I'll be happy to participate in.
I appreciate that, Errol. I will likely be speaking to you several times.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So now what that does mean is that someone will have to step up to replace Crystal as chair of the Policy and Procedures and Evaluations Committee. So we can leave that. We don't have to do that today, but we can leave that as an opportunity for people to mull it over, and during the time between now and the May meeting, can get in touch with Chrissy Hood to say that they would like to do that. And I hope that somebody will do that because, you know, we'd like to have chairs. All right, Chrissy, what else do you have?
Okay, Jenna, I'm going to let you kind of cover the two new representatives, and then I'll come back and pick up after that.
Sure. I just wanted to also have a formal place on our agenda to welcome Crystal, who was our new, or who is now our designation from TENCO, and also take the opportunity, since Katie Powers is here, to thank her for her many years of service to this Family Support State Council and just the program in general. Crystal is with Emory Valley Center, so she also comes from an agency who has the contract for the program, which is good because that means she's knowledgeable about the program, the importance of the program, So I appreciate both of you ladies as you served, Katie, and we want to welcome you as well, Crystal. So we are in search of a new Center for Independent Living representative. I received 2 nominations for representatives. Those terms are only for 3 years as outlined in the Family Support Guidelines. I have submitted the 2 nominations over to our commissioner for his review and approval. So as soon as I have that, I will be in contact with the person who is awarded that representation for the Center for Independent Living for the next 3 years. And then hopefully we'll have a new person to welcome at the next meeting.
And Edward will get a nice letter from the.
Edward will get a thank you letter from Commissioner for sure, and
He was awesome, counsel.
he really
Yes.
was. He really was.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working with
Hey.
Edward.
Explain, I explained this to Jenna when she asked the question about why there was this difference for the CILs. And that's because there's the SILC, and Edward was executive director of the SILC, which is a statewide independent living council. But there are, 6 CIL, 6 centers for independent living across the state. And we wanted to have each of those centers have an opportunity to serve someone from those centers to serve on the state council. That's why there's that differentiation in terms of that representation from that group. Okay.
So we'll be updating as, fortunately, the way the terms work with great council members like Errol and Katie and Ward, but getting new voices, and we're excited for Crystal and other people who will be joining the council.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, we're going to move along to the agenda item that was on the previous committee's agenda, which is actually our committee's responsibility. And so,
No, this is, by the way, this is my failure here. I went through the entire meeting and I got it mixed up too, that it will go to the other committee. So unfortunately, it did not come up I did not bring it up during the meeting last week. Sorry about that, Chris.
that's okay. So because we didn't bring it up in the committee meeting, there is no formal recommendation from the committee for the full council's approval. So we're going to look through this and kind of have some discussion about it. We did, as a committee, discuss this through email, and there was an additional change that was suggested to be added to this, and that would be to add restoration of rights and revision, the restoration to rights, like someone had conservatorship of someone and then basically removing that conservatorship. So we want to look at this and just kind of read through it, have some discussion about it, see if there are any other changes that you all feel need to be made. And then once we've kind of concluded all the discussions and such, then we can discuss voting on it. But want to make sure that we're all on the same page. We all understand what's going on. So as it said, the one that is up, is this the new one or the old one?
It is. So and I'm kind of switching between just to kind of give brief history. I don't want to go into the long history because I think it's been about 1.5 years on the conservatorship stuff. But last time we actually did have a recommendation and brought it to the council, and there was some great suggestions and some feedback, and they wanted to have additional discussion. And this that I'm showing on the screen right now, sorry if anybody can't pick that up, but what's crossed out and what's added, underlined or in red, is what's different than what was presented to the council last time in November. So it was actually Edward who wanted to take out 8 bullet counts, and actually that was even, I think, voted on at that meeting, and so that occurred, but just to show that is the difference. I believe it was Crystal who suggested power of attorney, and that makes sense, and that's added here. There was a lot of discussion, and it mostly went into how people felt about supportive decision making, but for purposes of just this definition, changing this part. And when I reread it again, I think it makes sense not to even to have it, that, you know, obviously as a department, we are supportive decision making, but that doesn't affect this part. If we're already noting right here that the language under Tennessee law that if such appointment would impose the least restrictive alternative upon the family member with a severe adult developmental disability, that's already in the law, and that would already require an analysis that a conservatorship is absolutely necessary. And then Lynette probably would have brought this up last week if I had brought it up in the meeting, but considering I did not, and we sent this out as an email yesterday, she brought up a great addition here that I know the department is definitely supportive of, which is that, you know, this could also be used for petitioning in a court to modify or terminate conservatorship. That doesn't mean completely ditching conservatorship or guardianship. You could also petition a court to modify, to say, hey, this was overly restrictive when this conservatorship order came down. We'll give these parts back to the individual to make these determinations. So here, all this said and done, there are now 5 parts to this. So we are hemming it in to make it not so much the Wild West. What does it mean when family support covers legal fees? Establishment of special needs trust, engaging in the supportive decision-making process, establishment of a POA, petitioning a court for a guardianship, which is just for minors, conservatorship when it's an adult, or petitioning a court to modify or terminate conservatorship or guardianship. So showing you the parts in red, I'm going to switch to just show this is what that definition is with all those changes accepted. No one's made it, because it didn't go through the committee. It's not an official recommendation, so somebody needed a motion to accept this, but of course, opening up to the floor for everyone for discussion in case there are any suggestions or additional changes or revisions, or if the council members want to make a motion and vote on this. It's completely up to y'all, obviously, but that's my spiel. Thank you, Christy. And this is how we got to where we are with this definition.
So Seth, I do have one question, and this is probably nitpicking, but
Okay.
number 3 says for the establishment of a power of attorney. Does that also include durable power of attorney? Does it need to specify that, or is that just kind of cover it?
It does
Okay.
cover that. So.
So any other questions or discussion?
I just want to say thank you guys for working on this between meetings. I like this definition compared to what we had back in November. So thank you guys.
And this is Regina. So my one question would be, in this family support program, we have paid for adoption fees for children that are not in the foster care system, but kids with special needs to be adopted. Would we incorporate that in this legal, or would we continue to use that under other?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how that would exactly come down, because I guess adoption fees could encompass hiring an attorney. But it's not What kind of costs come into play? Just because I haven't been through the process or worked with anybody in the process, as far as what kind of fees and costs are reimbursed when you have helped a family out with adoption.
That could cover home studies, the cost of home studies, and then the cost of whatever the attorney legal fees are to make that adoption formal. But because this says no other legal fees will be reimbursed, I just want to clarify where adoptions would fall. But yeah, in the past, we've covered the lawyer fees and the court fees, the filing fees, the lawyer fees, and the home studies. And we've clarified that they were not in the foster care system receiving a stipend, so they wouldn't have been disqualified because they were in a supported setting.
So Regina, let me ask this. Would these be families that are already approved for family support that you're saying this, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, because they are a guardian of the child and they want to carry that over to legally adopting them, then we have covered those costs.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Those want to be added to the.
I don't think so. That's a whole separate thing. So,
Let's see, Crystal.
My question is, I imagine that is a rather rare situation. Is it possible, instead of saying no other legal fees, could we say something to the effect of any other legal fees must be approved either by the local council or even the state council, or some sort of approval process? Because I agree that situation, the adoption fees, should be covered. But again, it's so rare. I mean, it's got to be rare. I can't imagine it happening very often. I'm not sure it needs to be specifically listed.
This will make it the state council, but I suppose also maybe there is some other situation that we haven't contemplated that no one would really want to necessarily, the program, the departments, the state council wouldn't necessarily want to put a prohibition on, but having something in place makes sure that there's some general guidelines. And so, that could be encompassed in this. I just kind of changed it on screen, but saying any other legal fees instead of will need to, must be approved by the Family Support State Council in order to be reimbursed by the Family Support Program. I don't know where we would want to put that, but just going with Crystal's suggestion. What do council members think of that?
Why wouldn't that be the local council, since they're the ones that do the guidelines for and the priorities for their area?
let's remember that these are just suggestions of what could be approved.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it could be, the other proposal could be approved by the department.
I don't think local councils have the authority to make legal decisions.
And that, I get it, unless it makes me,
So I think maybe legal.
I know it would make me feel better, but I'm not voting. That would be by the department.
And those just get submitted to me and I send them to you.
They can figure that out internally within the department.
When you say the department, who specifically are we speaking about?
CDA, so our department, disability and aging.
So that would go to, like, if a provider had that request, they would need to come to you, Jenna?
Yes, and I would always loop Seth in on something like that because he's the legal expert here.
But for whatever for the future, it would go to the statewide coordinator. I can put that specifically because that position title's all over the guidelines. So
State weapons support coordinator
yeah, and then
or department approval.
yeah, must be sent to the DEA statewide support coordinator. Is that or the department? Because quite honestly, this kind of gets into the weeds of legal matters involving state funds. But for instance, adoption, I can't see that ever being an issue, but it does make me think though, there could be other kind of situations like that that might make complete and total sense.
Lynette has a comment.
Yeah, it's just tiny. I was looking at what you had typed for the approval by the department, maybe instead for consideration by the department, because there's other options besides approval, you know.
Good point.
The 5 specific types of legal fees that are listed, are those, I'm assuming those are the most common, but are there, if we have some coordinators that want to weigh in, are those the most common legal fee requests? I'm assuming power of attorney, special needs trust, and guardianship are the top 3 there, but I just would like to hear from if there are any coordinators that have other requests that come up often. Christy said, yes, those are the most common. Sarah Reeves said those are the only ones she sees. Thank you for weighing in. I was just curious about that.
Do we have any, I'm sorry, I'm still relatively new. Do we have any considerations for if a family needs help with advocacy legal costs?
And we've not been putting that under education, if it's advocacy for IEPs.
I usually do see that under education, if that comes up. And just Crystal, kind of to take it a step back to the past, the way that we even came up with these original special needs trust, supported decision-making, conservatorship, guardianship kind of categories was because I pulled out of the claim system all of the other categories and I just totaled like how many, I took the most frequently used. So these were the most frequently used descriptions under other. And then we presented that along with service animal and those that have been previously approved by this council. So
that's
I
right.
think,
I remember that now.
Yeah, I just kind of want to give a history on how these even came up as what to be considered.
That was also after a meeting with the coordinators too, right?
But
The coordinator meeting.
we talked about it in coordinator meetings for sure. We've talked about it in multiple state council meetings, but really it all came about because I was like, well, we have this other category and I see these same things. Why don't we make a category for the ones that are kind of the frequently used under the other category? So
Some of which have already been approved.
most have. It's this one that's just hanging out there. This is the last one.
I think some of the advocacy services such as STEP are free to families.
Yeah.
And I think here, if they're adding the sentence and changing the sentence, last sentence here, I think also if there's a doubt, if it's like, well, I would think it'd be under this category, but this one, if it said no other legal fees, maybe we'd be stepping on our own be in here, but considering what it says, if there's a question, you can send it to the statewide family support coordinator. I'll send it to Jenna, and then if it's on the fence or any questions about it, then we can sort that out.
I like that because it continues to keep the flexibility of the program, but it also holds some accountability there to make sure that the funds are being used wisely.
I agree.
Very good. Okay, so let's read the new word, well, not just the new wording, but let's read the entire paragraph.
Sorry, the title keeps getting longer. But, just to cover the basis. I guess it could just be called legal fees too, but
Seth, will you read it?
yes, please. The Family Support Program will solely reimburse eligible families or individuals for legal fees for either one, the establishment of a special needs trust for the family member with severe or developmental disability in accordance with state and federal law. Two, for engaging in the process of supported decision-making. Three, for the establishment of a power of attorney for the family member with a severe or developmental disability. Four, it's a long one, but for petitioning a court for the appointment of a guardianship over a minor, conservatorship over an adult family member with a severe developmental disability, only when such an appointment would impose the least restrictive alternative upon the family member with a severe developmental disability, which is consistent with adequate protection of the family member in accordance with Tennessee Code annotated 34-1-127. Or five, petitioning a Tennessee court to modify or terminate an order of conservatorship or guardianship for the restoration of rights for a family member with severe developmental disability. Any other legal fees must be sent to the DDA statewide family support coordinator for consideration by the department in order to be reimbursed by the family support.
Crystal said number 3 should say severe or it's above.
Thank you, that's true. That's true.
Seth, does the word solely reimburse, does that imply that the last sentence would not be valid?
It generally does, yeah. So I could ditch that.
Let's take that out.
Yeah. It wouldn't make sense otherwise, right?
Yeah. Does everybody understand that, removing that word solely? Has everybody been able to digest this? Okay, so we will need someone to make a motion to approve this wording under the, these are the accepted, non-accepted suggestions, right?
No, this will be a service definition.
The service definition.
Yes.
Okay, the service definition.
Then the next time we'll come back and have services appropriate, not appropriate. It'll just say refer to the definition because this one's pretty
This is the
self-explanatory.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. I was forgetting where we were. Okay, so we need a motion.
This is Lynette Porter. I make a motion to approve the new service definition as presented on screen.
Thank you, Lynette. Second?
This is Crystal Murphy. I'll second.
All right, any more discussion about this service definition? I think we beat it to death. All right, so, let's see. Hold on. To make a note of what this vote is about. Okay, so a yes will be to approve this new language for the service definition of all those things. And no will be opposed to it. Lori Kiefer,
Yes.
Crystal Murphy,
Yes.
say yes. Chrissy Hood,
Yes.
Kimberly Boyd,
Yes.
Kimberly still with us?
She said yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Diana Baucom,
Yes.
Lynette Porter,
Yes.
Crystal Hicks,
Yes.
Gary Carlson,
Yes.
Yolanda Beeson.
Yes.
Okay, motion is approved. The new language will become part of the service definitions. All
I
right.
just wanted to thank you everybody for the feedback on that. I actually think it turned out 1000% better based on everybody's feedback, so.
And it's only taken us a year to do it.
You're gonna.
So time, yeah. But it was,
I think it's definitely a
it
year.
was really good feedback.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes it's good to take your time.
Mhm.
All right, Chrissy, anything else from the?
Yes. One last thing, want to cover Disability Day on the Hill. And one of the biggest reasons that I want to cover Disability Day on the Hill is that we do have flyers that can be shared with your legislators. Those were updated. And these are wonderful tools to take with you to Disability Day on the Hill, to share with them, let them know how the family support program is helping families, but also to give them that leave behind to have that future information when they hear about family support. But also, if you're not going to be able to attend in person, I encourage you to email your legislator and also send that flyer as an attachment to your legislator. So I'm going to go over real quickly just Disability Day on the Hill, the dates and the information about it. So the Tennessee Disability Coalition Community Party is Tuesday, February 24th at a new location. They'll be at the Adventure Science Center, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. So they'll have access to the West Gallery, which is on the first floor. That includes like your fossils and your solar system. You do need to RSVP. It is a free event. There will be appetizers and such, but we do ask that you RSVP. And you can RSVP at TennesseeAndDisability.org. Carrie, if you want to pop in the chat the link to RSVP, I would greatly appreciate that. The other thing is actual Disability Day on the Hill, where we will be at Cordell Hull. It will be on Wednesday, February 25th. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are going to be different workshops and things in the comptroller's room, which is on the second floor. And what that will include is there will be opportunities for individuals to do an All About Me page they can take to legislators. We'll have Polaroid camera there to take photos. We'll have a lot of different stations that individuals and families can move through. And then that'll prepare them for their meetings. We encourage everyone to schedule meetings with their legislators. Tennessee Disability Coalition can help with scheduling those meetings if need be. And if you can't attend in person, you can also, try to do a virtual meeting, do a phone call or an email. That also requires you to RSVP, especially if you need any type of accommodations or anything. It's really important to get those RSVPs in. And then the last part of DDH is our on March 11th is our Disability Advocacy Day. This is where they ask everybody to kind of wear blue, light it up blue, all the different places turn blue, to ask places in your community to shine blue, just to raise some awareness about our disability advocates. So I say all of that to say, we hope you'll participate and we hope that you will share the family support program with our legislators. And because we want to keep this program alive and we want to keep it funded, and we want them to know that the money that they have allotted in the budget for the family support program is going to great use, and we take every single dollar and cent seriously in helping the families. And then hearing from the families of how much it has helped them personally is always great as well. So does anyone have any questions on any of that?
Chrissy, I was just gonna say, if you or Carrie or anybody else has information on Disability Day on the Hill that you want, email to the wider, family support coordinators, council members, anything. Just send that over to me or Jenna, and we'll get that out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Chrissy, I just had one thing to add to you. I'm so sorry.
No, you add away, girl.
Please. So registering for Disability Day on the Hill and the community party, this year we do have kid sizes on that registration. So please do not forget to, if you are bringing a younger one with you, don't overlook that, because I know it's something new that people aren't used to, but don't forget about getting your kiddos a t-shirt also. That's all I had. Thank you.
And that's all I have from the committee.
Excellent. Thank you, Chrissy. Hey, and look at that. And we're right inside our time frame. That's amazing. No thanks to me, but thanks to everybody else who kept discussion to the point. All right, so regional activities and updates. Let's start with Jill.
Hey, everybody. In East, we are halfway through with our programmatic review, so we're excited to wrap that up. We have another one next week, and I believe that's SAI, and then one more the following week, and we will be done. So we're excited about that. And everything else is going pretty well. Thank you.
Jill. Tammy?
Well, I would like to, we have a couple new coordinators. Melanie Oberg is, she's been on the call today with us. She's from Buffalo River Services. She's taking Melissa Brewer's place. Melissa will be staying, hey, Melanie, thank you. She'll be staying with the agency, but has stepped into a different position. So I just want to welcome Melanie, and we're glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us. And then we have a new coordinator at the ARC of Williamson, Marcy Cohen. Is Marcy was able, did she ever join us, Shay? I wanted the council to meet her today.
Sorry.
Yeah, she should be on. She's on her phone, so I don't know if she'll be able to.
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
I'm here. Hi, it's nice to meet everyone.
Hey, Marcy, thank you for joining. Can you open your camera or not? I don't want to put you on the spot.
She's on her phone.
Sure, but
Okay,
I'm on my phone, so it's just a little wonky. I couldn't get in on my computer.
Okay,
Hi.
that's okay. We're just glad you're here and wanted to welcome you. And Shay will also be staying with the agency, so both ladies will have those resources available to them with the seasoned coordinators. And then we also have Sarah Reed. Sarah's been with the agency a little while now and is doing a great job. We have completed her programmatic review. We got stuck on that one a little bit with the power outages, so we have to finish that one up this week, hopefully. And then I have the Arc of Davidson is scheduled for February the 20th. And then we have HATS on March the 4th. So those have been going very well. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Tammy. Carla Goodman.
Hi, everybody. We've also finished 3 of our 4 programmatic reviews. We do have one more next week, and we'll be done with those. The big news is we have somebody that's to join District 9 Council and also be the state rep for District 9, which we've been without for a little while. and she's on the phone today. Her name is Margaret Beth Robinson. She goes by Beth Robinson, and she's originally from Tupelo, but she's lived in Somerville, Fayette County, Tennessee for about 7 years. And she's married and has 5 beautiful children, and they're 10 and under. So, woo, including a set of twins. Her son she has a son with autism, and they received family support before he was approved for Katie Beckett's. And she also has a child receiving services from Tennessee Strong. She's a current participant in the Partners in Policymaking Leadership Institute, and she's a DHS foster parent, and she's a CASA court-appointed special advocate volunteer for Shelby County, and she completed the Family Support Specialist program through Department of Mental Health, and her heart's an advocacy in serving our most vulnerable population. So she would like to join District 9.
That's great.
Beth, do you have anything else to add? I just tried to summarize it real quick. I think she's here. Oh, maybe she dropped off or something. She was here. Okay. So anyway, that's Beth.
All right.
Questions, concerns?
Was that for the state council to?
Sure. She's District 9 and then the state rep for District 9. We haven't had a district or state rep for a minute for District 9. So.
And I'm sorry, what was her last name?
Robinson,
Thank you.
Robinson, and her first name's Margaret, but she goes by her Beth.
We vote on her as the new district.
She has to get the letter from the commissioner,
We vote here
and then they send it to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we should do that. Okay. District 9. Representative. Okay, that was a good summary of what she does. That sounds, she will be,
Carla, she says she's there, but her phone is muted. She's not unable.
Okay.
She calling, we could, it's probably calling easier.
Yeah, I'll move her to the panelist. All right.
Beth? So you on the call, can you speak now?
There she is.
Hey, this is Beth. Nope, that was a good summary of who I am and what I do and where my heart is, and I'm excited to potentially be a part of the state council too.
And I will say she has a picture that I can't show you really on the line, but she has a beautiful family.
all right, that sounds great. Well, you had a good introduction to what the state council does today, if you are on for most of the meeting. So, okay, well, we will vote on Beth to take the position of the state council for District 9. Lori Kiefer.
Oh, she told me she had to step off.
Oh, Lori is, okay. Crystal Murphy.
Yes.
Say yes, welcome. Chrissy Hood. Chrissy. We're voting on.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
Okay. Diana Baughman.
Yes.
Porter.
Yes.
Crystal Hicks.
Yes.
Terry Carlson.
Yes.
And Londa Beeson.
Yes.
Kimberly Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I said, thank you. All right, well, welcome, Beth. So get all the information necessary. Jenna, you'll send this
I'll send it to
to the
Commissioner for
commissioner,
approval.
and then all the other appropriate orientation and so forth will happen after that. So, all right, very good. Okay, thank you for that. Let's see, any public comments? Anybody who hadn't had a chance to say hello or make a comment, add some information that will be useful to the council members? Anybody out there who has something they really want to say? I think there were, well, we did have some public folks because they. Katie Powers. Katie, do you want to say anything? All right, so,
That's something really quick. I'm sorry. I just want to reiterate something that Errol's already said and Chrissy as well. If you're interested in the, in being the chair of the public awareness training, I'm sorry, the policy and procedures evaluations committee, now that Crystal is the new chair. Just reiterating what's already been said, but please reach out to either me or Jenna and we will get that moved along for the public awareness training nomination committee next meeting. Really appreciate that.
no, I know that Crystal was a little hesitant about taking that position. She's done a great job. Tell them how easy it was, Crystal.
It was super easy. No, really. I mean, I don't know if it was super easy, but if I could do it, then anyone can. So, just someone willing.
Yeah, it's, you got a lot of support. Okay, so, that brings our meeting to a close. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Good discussions. Welcome to the new folks on the council. As I said, just because my term is over doesn't mean you get rid of me. Just keep hanging on. I have been part of the family support program one way in one form or another since its beginning. So that goes back to 1992. And it's been my pleasure and privilege to be chair a couple of times. And Crystal, you'll do a fabulous job. Okay. Everybody take, have a great day. It's supposed to rain today or something in Nashville. But it's over 40 degrees, so I am thankful for that. So everybody have a good couple of months, and we'll same place, and May, what the next meeting is,
May 5th.
Tuesday, May 5th. That's my son's birthday. 10 a.m. Stamps Building, 2114. Okay, take care, everybody. Thanks again for participating.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.